Hi guys, I'm Nai. Welcome to the fourth episode of Nice Dungeons. Today I will be running another Tier 4 dungeon in a different set of Tier 3 equipment. I am now located in Hater, which is right next to Martlock and is a Tier 4 zone, so this dungeon will be Tier 4 and I will have an adequate challenge. Today I will be using the Journeyman Scholar armor together with a weapon from the range of Warrior, Journeyman's crossbow. First of all, the Journeyman Scholar armor or set is cloth armor, which offers limited defense but is great at offense. That is due to less armor and magical resistance, but whopping 40% physical and magical attack and ability bonuses. And it is also useful for healing, because it increases the healing a lot. Scholar or cloth armor in general also allows the energy to regenerate somewhat faster, so it is good for extensive use of abilities. The Scholar Robe offers two passives. I believe the concentration is available later, so I will be using the aggression. This increases my damage and healing by 8%, another 8%. The concentration is located on all close armors, reduces my cast times, but this time, well, it would be useful, but this is very critical on casters, on healers, on magic ability casters. As for the R spell, I will be using the Frost Shield that reflects some of the damage that I take and slows any enemy dealing damage to me, so I can outrun them in case I'm attacked. The helm, or the headpiece, also offers increased damage or reduced cast times. I will take the increased damage. And as for the D spell, I will use the force field, which will knock back my enemies, as shown in the first video. As for the Scholar Sandals, these also have an option to increase my damage and healing by another 3.5%, and two spells for my boot slot. First one is to increase my movement speed for 3 seconds and restore some energy, and the second, focused run, is a channeled ability which will not allow me to attack or cast while it is active, but it will increase my movement speed by 70% for a longer time and grants immunity to stuns, roots and slows. I think this could be useful more in a PvP situation, but I will take energetic sprint for now. I also have the Journeyman's Cape and the Journeyman's crossbow. The crossbow is a weapon unlocked in the Journeyman Warrior node. Here it is: crossbow, battle axe, hammer, mace and broadsword together with the shield. The hammer and the mace are most of the time used as tanking weapons, so defensive option and disrupting. The broadsword and battle axe are great sustain and solo or damaging weapons as well, and the crossbow is one of the two ranged weapons, and the crossbow is a rather versatile weapon. Let's pick our spells. Now the passive. The first passive that is available is a knockback for on every third normal attack. Others are allowed later when you level up or fame up the crossbow, so you can reset your first sword ability, or every normal attack restores some energy. I will use the first one which will knock back my enemies. It will be useful in a solo scenario. The Q spell is at first only the auto fire. The second one is unlocked at level 3. And auto fire focuses my attacks to deal the normal attack damage while channeling for 1.5 seconds, and the last attack deals additional damage in an area. Please mind that these are not the auto attacks, so they will not trigger this passive forceful bolt. As for my W spell, I have the option to pick either knockback shot or the thunder shot. Knockback shot will knock back my one enemy and increase my cast and attack speed. The thunder shot will decrease damage resistances on the enemy, so it is best used on a full health enemy. But this time I will pick the knockback shot. It is useful in a solo scenario again, and I will try to use the cast time and attack speed increase to synergize with my E ability, which is snipe shot. This simply deals a lot, and I mean a lot of damage. It has a long cast time, so it cannot be used while you are focused by enemies and abilities, and it has a decent cooldown, so I will use this. Right, let's go in this dungeon. Good. The hidden caverns are a keeper dungeon. The keepers are one of the 4 possible enemies that you are getting in the randomized dungeons, and they're humanoids mostly. The easy enemies are knifelings and wildlings, which are melee and ranged and melee, and they also have these rock elementals. The small rock elementals have a spell that might damage in an area. It's moving slow, so it can be easily outrun, but if there are multiple, it might not be that easy. Knocking back every enemy interrupts their spellcasting. And that means that the crossbow, together with the passive of cloak armor, provides a lot of crowd control for me. Now there are also bigger rock elementals. These are not mineable, unlike the rock elementals outside, but they are mineable in the open dungeons. I might come to that later. Alright, so far I have only got low enemies. I'm using mostly the Q auto fire, it deals damage much faster than just my auto attacks, because I don't have any attack speed increase like from leather armor. And here is the berserker, the regular enemy. I will use the snipe shot first. It doesn't matter how long does it take to cast, and see it deals about 60% of the enemy's health, so I'm able to deal with it quickly. Now if I use my W and E, its wind up is very small or very short, so that I'm able to cast it very fast. It's a very good thing. These berserkers deal damage in a cone, and if they are low on health, they will enrage and start spinning and dealing pretty considerable amount of damage, so outrun that or kill them fast when they start. Now I'm running into a sort of a side boss, and I think I know this will be the berserker. Here are the axe throwers, the stronger enemies, and the Earthkeeper. It is important that I interrupt the casting of the last child because I guess it is a female giant. She increases the health and damage of other allies or enemies of mine. So they deal a very much increased damage, and it is vital that I avoid her having a go. Having a knockback or any other crowd controlling ability is very good for this dungeon. As I am fighting one batch of enemies after another, my health is getting low because I'm close armor and doesn't have much defense. And I see my enemy is the Earthdaughter. I believe she always guards a purple chest, so this will be a tough fight. She has a lot of health, increased defenses, but she doesn't do a lot of damage herself if I'm able to avoid her abilities. When I'm solo, I can afford myself to use the snipe first and then go through my other abilities to deal damage quickly and then avoid and then repeat. But when in a group scenario, you shouldn't be starting the fight with your greatest burst damage.
Get out of our home, takers! Nature, awaken! Cowards!
She summons these pebbles, these small elementals.
I see you.
The bar on the sniper shot was not active because I really not quite shot. Sense so I just run out and restart the encounter. It is possible that I will not be able to deal with her in a tier 3 equipment. The giants are a big foe. Also, I am not able to knock her back using my passive, so that is wasted. I'm not able to really knock her back by this ability, but interrupt her spellcasting. Yes, I can do that. And I believe I have made a bad choice not to use the force field on the small enemies. So let's see if this try goes better.
Get out of our home, takers! Nature, awaken! I see you.
For the stones she's throwing.
I see you.
Place my sniper shots well.
Nature, awaken!
She's busy now. Earth. Other ability.
Takers, be gone!
Very well now.
Cowards!
Just
You will pay! I see you.
it would be very useful if I had any sort of
Takers, be gone! Feel our blood!
Now she's got on Earth. will try one more time, and if that is not successful, I will give up. It's a solo dungeon, and I don't have to get every reward. I know that the Earthdaughter is a strong enemy, and such is life. I don't have the best equipment for this.
Get out of our home, takers. Nature, awaken. I see you.
Now, if I'm not near enough, the Earthling, the Elemental, will not
I see you.
aggro on me, so it will not damage. Right.
Nature, awaken. Takers. Cowards.
Okay. This fight looks good.
Takers, be gone.
I have interrupted her casting ability.
You will
Perhaps
pay.
I should just
Elements rise. I see you. Dust to dust.
drop
Takers, gone.
if possible. That was very close. I will give it one more try. I will try to avoid the elementals, not to aggro to me at all, and deal as much damage to the Earthdaughter as I can. Obviously defense is not possible, or taking direct hits in this build is not possible or a good idea. I was badly positioned in that edge when she started slamming the ground. I have seen that the energy is not an issue, so I don't have to try and improve on that. But I think I should go to the edge first.
You don't belong here, takers. Nature, awaken. Cowards. Takers, be gone. Nature, awaken. You will pay. See you.
All the time she spends a long way
I
away
see
from
you.
this well.
Cowards. Element rise. Takers. Dust to dust. Takers be gone. You will pay.
Sniping is good. And I have beaten her. So it was a tough fight. I wanted to give up, but I really didn't have to. Let's see if the reward is worth it. And I believe it is worth. There are a lot of runes and an enchanted Adam's cape. Now, because I've played this game for a long time, I'm able to use the Adam's cape. And as you can see, the green edge shows that it is enchanted, so it is a bit more powerful than the usual Adept's cape of that is not enchanted. And I will explain this mechanic about equipment, I guess, in the next video, where I will fight in Tier 4 equipment only. So I will save this Adam's cape for later. It looks like a somewhat good item. one big advantage of going with high damage with this fight, high damage build, is that you are able to deal with enemies quickly. You don't have to wait or avoid as many abilities. Just deal damage and you are done with it. The risk is that if there are any dangerous or strong ones, then it's going to be tough. And this type of encounters are always focus the Earthling, or what was her name? Earthchild, as it buffs the other ones. Unbuffed, they are not really dangerous. The keepers also have these arrestor type of enemies, which circle bolts of lightning, and as you can see I have ignored it and it dealt considerable damage to me. So if I'm melee, I have to move around quicker, and the second one moves in a different direction. When dealing damage, it is very good to stay stationary. There should be a shrine. I've hoped for a shrine, but there was none. It is important to remain stationary so you can deal damage effectively. Okay, these keeper bears will use this charge, and they usually try to get to you, but outrun that. And they also use clap, which deals some damage and knocks you back. I wasn't able to show this because I have dealt with them very quickly, and the knockbacks have interrupted their casting. It isn't always easy to avoid that damage, but it is much, and it doesn't do much disruption. It doesn't take you out of the fight for long. The axe throwers use this kind of earth slam, where they damage you if you stand in this area, but that's easy to avoid. And there are also such mobs in the on the outside, in the tier 5s or yellow zones. Wrong, because I have this increased damage and movement speed buff. I should try to clear this damage. As you can see, I am able to snipe the on one go. This shrine here trivializes. Another side. The Sharp Eye uses this ability where or spell where he makes the ground erupt, and that is easy to avoid, but it will disable you from the fight if you get hit once or twice. Okay, there's the side boss. It's the Earthkeeper Patriarch, which is basically just improved version of the Berserker. So he will hit enemies in a cone and occasionally enrage and start spinning. That should be avoidable. I am waiting for my health to recover. You start snipe because it doesn't matter. Fast it kills. I am able to avoid some of its attacks by interrupting them. And my reward will be a shrine. These are different shrines, not the same as wait. As the simple ones out there. This will... there are two types. They either increase my fame gained or my silver gain. Let's see which one is this. Fame. So I will have increased learning and be able to level up the levels more quickly. Magical type enemies don't have much damage, just in their ability. So they don't. If you are able to avoid it, then you shouldn't have a problem ever. Even if you are not dealing with them right away. In the Keeper dungeons, I believe there is no healing type enemy. But they do a lot more damage. Well, stunning and crowd controlling. Sometimes unavoidable damage. So it is better to be durable than doing a lot of damage. Okay, I have that thing. I shouldn't have gone out of my way to run into her. I should have just waited for my auto attack knockback, and that was an error. Oh. It is sometimes better to wait for your abilities and not go into the fight, especially if you are not outperforming the dungeon. So in tier 3 I'm a bit of on the low side here. Okay, the druid uses his magical ability and a spark. This spark will go out even if he dies. And then he throws this lightning field on the ground that moves slowly away from him sometimes, or usually. And now I see I am getting closer to the boss fight, or the final boss fight of this dungeon. The grass goes green and there is a hill and a old wise man talking to the young earthlings. And the boss right behind these trees. Alright, this keeper boss, the Earthkeeper Elder, is somewhat tough. He walks around this small arena and usually guards the blue chest. He's an improved version of the druid, I believe it was, outside, as he uses the same lightning field of area, that doesn't move, that is static, and he will summon sometimes a hurricane that will spawn the sparks all over the place, and they deal huge damage, so I will try to avoid them at all costs. And when he's low, he starts with casting lightning novas, so I will have to run out, or perhaps run around to avoid those. Alright, I'm full. Let's try this.
In life, you torture Albion.
Okay, I was
In death,
hit by this.
you feed it.
Now he starts casting the hurricane. That is not interruptible, so I just have to run around and do damage. If you are not in full damage, he will sometimes not spawn 1, but 2 or even 3 lightning fields.
Oh no! No!
Oh, I'm dead. Well, I didn't play that well. I was focused on casting and took a lot of damage from the lightning fields and from the hurricane, I guess, as well. In full clothes, you are needed to do a lot of damage to survive the bosses at low tires, so I prefer plate or leather. Even though it is usually recommended to just maximize your damage by using clothes. It is good in group scenarios, but in solo, not that perfect.
In life, you torture Albion. In death, you feed it.
Okay. The hurricane. I can sneak in a few shots. Oh, that was a mistake I've taken. Even though I saw that it was outside of my... I was standing outside of the circle, it hit me. I'll try to do the run, but to restart rather. If you are in higher tire equipment and weapon, you can allow yourself to be somewhat lenient and take some of the hits. But I'm doing the hard part now.
In life, you torture Albion. In death, you feed it.
Interrupted him casting the lightning field, and will outrun. Now the I did it bad because I couldn't move after I have used my snipe shot and took a lot of damage from the lightning field, and then the indicators on the lightning nova wasn't accurate, so I was hit even though I saw that I shouldn't have been. It's going to be tough. How many times I have died? 6? 5? Probably 6 times.
In life, you torture Albion. In death, you feed it.
I have just cure around the void storm. Okay, another storm. And now that he's low, he will start to use the Nova. One Nova. I wasn't hit by any of his abilities and still got down to 20% of my health. That's exactly how difficult this fight is, actually. So I got Relic, Rune, Tier 5 Cape, great, and a Tier 4 Adept Graveguard Armor. Now the Graveguard Armor is plate armor, high defense, low on offense. This one could be used for tanking, but this one is more about crowd control. And has some physical attack bonus, but mostly CC duration. And as you can see, you are using the Adept's Ancient Chain Rings to craft this, as this is the recipe. It's 16 steel bar and an Ancient Chain Rings. This is an artifact that is created by melting the runes in a city. And you are using them for crafting various Tier 4 armor, and that creates the width that is experienced on higher levels or in the endgame. So I might actually use the Graveguard armor and with other items in the next playthrough. I'm not sure exactly what will it be, but it will be Tier 4 armor, and I will challenge myself to a Tier 5 dungeon. Well, this dungeon I took a lot of damage because I was in offensive armor, but it was worth it. I have beaten the dungeon. The keepers are a real threat, and you really need to know what the enemies are doing, especially the bosses. I had 2 hard bosses in this one and 1 easy. And well, let's get out. Finish this dungeon off and head on to the endgame. Tier 4 upwards is actually what I consider endgame. Hail! See you at the next episode. Goodbye.